Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. This is, Thursday evening now? We've had such a good week, and it's still rolling on. So thank you for joining me. If you want to join everyone in the chat, we all like to chit-chat before the show starts. If you want to join the party, you got to do it on Rumble. Rumble is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll. So rumble.com/Hayley will bring you to the Bongino Report channel. That's where you have to smash the follow button, the subscribe button to make sure that you never miss a show. Of course, if you can't catch us at 6 p.m. Eastern time, totally get it. I know we are hard workers here. We are busy. We're not liberals who have no lives. So if you can't catch us at 6 p.m., I get it. Listen whenever you want. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. Just search Nightly Scroll with Hayley and you will find me and we'll have some fun. So let's get into tonight's show because George Soros and other liberal boogeyman types, they are funding the resistance in D.C., of course, and the protesters are doing their darndest with pots and pans and ham sandwiches. Then Chris Cuomo is throwing shade at the king of podcasting, Joe Rogan, saying he won't be relevant in a year from now. Mirror, mirror on the wall. In today's episode of Liberals Crying on the Internet, I found a licensed therapist crashing out over her emotional support Starbucks drink. I'm serious. Seriously. All right, all that and so much more on this episode of Nightly Scroll. As we know, President Trump deployed National Guard troops to assist in cleaning up Washington, D.C. this week. And this is going to be a whole bigger, larger effort to clean up all Democrat-run blue cities, right? So he sent about 800 National Guard troops. They are going to be tasked with removing homeless people and fighting crime that we were told doesn't exist. However, we have found out since that the statistics were fudged a little bit. Of course, not only that, but apparently residents in high crime areas of D.C. are so fed up with crime that they don't report it anymore. So NPR reporter Frank Langfitt, he took to the streets in Washington, D.C. First, he interviewed a bunch of people in like a gentrified area, a bunch of white libs. And of course, they have a big issue with President Trump and what he's doing there to clean up crime. They say there's no crime. Then this NPR reporter goes to high crime areas. It's a different story. Listen to this.
So, Frank, you started in a busy, gentrifying neighborhood. Where'd you go next?
So I get on the metro and I went across the Anacostia River to Congress Heights. This is among the poorest areas of the city. Vast majority of the population is black. And also the D.C. police say this is part of an area with among the highest violent crime rates in the city. But unlike U Street, people in Congress Heights said crime is a really big problem there. Shootings, robbery, burglaries. In fact, some say crime is worse than the statistics show because many say have given up reporting to police because they feel a lot of crimes go unpunished.
So what is that neighborhood sense then, or at least the people you talked to about the president's move?
You know, there was a general sense that any greater armed presence would be a good thing. I was talking to a woman named Alicia Cooper. She works in property management in that area. And she also kind of likes the idea of federal oversight of police.
The positive is a sense of security. Residents, at the end of the day, they can feel secure that they know that there is a higher level of chain of command that is monitoring, what's going on.
I just want to also note that she knows what chain of command means. Meanwhile, the DEI hire in the D.C. police chief, Pamela Smith, she did not. Just a callback from earlier this week when we played that video. All this goes to show that the white liberals, the bleeding heart liberals, they will just protest literally anything. They get mad at anything. You know these NPC memes about them just caring about the current thing? Art imitates life, whether it's Ukraine or whatever. I mean, insert cause here. They'll make signs. They'll stomp their feet. They'll make Instagram infographics until something shiny and new catches their attention over here. That is their mindset. We saw in recent years Occupy Wall Street, the Green New Deal, a bunch of climate protests. Of course, in 2020, Black Lives Matter, follow the science, my body, my choice, take down Tesla, no kings. Now they're literally fighting the Trump administration, moving homeless people out of the nation's capital. Liberals will not admit this out loud because it doesn't fit their narrative. But nobody, and I mean nobody, wants a homeless person sleeping on their stoop. You could be the most caring, the most bleeding heart liberal. If you are especially a young woman, you are afraid of homeless people. You just are. Not that they're all inherently bad. They may be harmless, but you don't know what you're going to get. Is this going to be a homeless person that minds their business? Maybe. Or is this going to be a homeless person that's on drugs, spits on you, assaults you, exposes themselves to you? I mean, these are all things that I've experienced in New York City. I've been spat on. I mean, it's just disgusting. So liberals need to stop lying to themselves about this. Nobody wants to live amongst homeless people. Everyone wants to find a humane solution, right? So this administration steps in and the left has a full-on meltdown right on cue. Be so for real. This is about your Trump hatred. This is about all of the buzzwords that you heard on social media. It's not about the problem at hand. If libs were honest with themselves, they would admit that they'd feel safer with more police and less homeless drug addicts on the streets. But don't take DC residents' words for it. This protester traveled a long way to get involved on the action and drove to DC himself. Watch.
I'm leaving my kids, my family, my house, my job, my cat, and everything else just to fucking drive to DC right now. I'm driving from Michigan to Washington, DC because Pedo 47 is a piece of shit, and I'm gonna stick up for my fucking fellow citizens. So fuck you, MAGA. I'm on my way to DC.
Ooh. Ooh, I'm scared.
My first thought was, I hope he stops at a Buc-ee's. You know, just maybe that
On
could
his
diffuse
way.
him a little bit.
That'll
Get
just
to know
ease
the
him
crowd.
into the MAGA. Ease him into the MAGA lifestyle.
Or a Cracker Barrel.
Someone
Just
in the
hop
chat,
in.
someone in the chat just asked, do these liberals actually have jobs? Again, he is leaving his job. He is leaving his family. He is leaving his wife, his kids, his cat. If this was my husband, I would say, when you get to DC, why don't you look for apartments? Why don't you let me know what your new address is? And I will ship the divorce papers there. You let me know where you're going to end up because you're not coming home with me. That is embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. And the way that he thinks that he's so macho, he thinks that he's, well, I saw what was happening and I just had to drive there from Michigan to do something about it. What are you going to do about it? Genuinely, what is he going to do when he gets to DC? He is not a victim because he's quite literally not a resident of DC, so he doesn't know what's going on. He's never experienced DC crime. He's not from there. He is not a victim, but he has to make himself one. They have to get involved. If something's happening, it's like a moth to a flame. They have to get involved. They have to go protest, and it makes you wonder, what is motivating these people who are not affected by DC crime in the slightest to get involved? Well, this is part of a larger effort, of course, like all liberal protests, to make money. And of course, none other than George Soros is behind it. Here's this headline out of the New York Post earlier today. Left-wing dark money mega donors, including George Soros, contribute $20 million to groups funding protests against Trump's DC crime crackdown. This is what the article says. Several lefty dark money organizations, including George Soros's, contributed more than $20 million to these groups funding these protests all over DC. One of them is called Free DC. It is what they call a fiscally sponsored special project. They're special, all right. And anyway, so they're deploying 150 demonstrators all around DC by the White House to protest this. So they're being paid. They're being paid and they're being told to don't obey, take up space, and go outside at 8 p.m. and bang pots and pans, sing, chant, or make noise for 5 minutes every night of this occupation. They're calling it an occupation. These people are devoid of reality. They're just, what are you occupying?
I just thinking about getting here. We're talking about the, the Saturday Night Live skit, the more cowbell. Like that guy's just sitting outside banging pots and pans and playing the cowbell. For what?
They're just shouting into the ether. No one's listening. They're not stopping anything. They're not stopping the National Guard. They're not stopping the Trump administration. They're doing this for no reason. Liberal protesters are not serious human beings, and we cannot take them serious. We have to just laugh at them. So here's Exhibit A of these idiots booing law enforcement, making noise as they were told by George Soros and co.
Here's a real cop. He has a badge. He has insignia, and he has his name on his chest. That's a real cop.
Fuck no.
Go
He
home.
harasses citizens. He's not.
They're going to start booing now. Ooh, okay. Okay. You really showed them. These cops are scared. They're scared and they're going to not do their jobs. They're not going to do as the Trump administration told them to do. They're going to bow down but to all of you booing at them. Sure. And if you didn't believe me about the pots and pans, here's a graphic, an infographic from Instagram. Trump's fascist takeover of D.C. is a serious escalation of fascist control of the country and the Capitol. In D.C. and everywhere, Wednesday, 6 p.m., bring the noise. Demand Trump must go. Bring whistles, pots and pans, noisemakers. And this is from what? Refusefascism.org. Literally, bring whistles, pots and pans, and noisemakers. Wild. And I know we've all seen this video of the Subway sandwich thrower, the Subway slinger. I'm not going to say his name, but we'll play the video of the Subway slinger, the sandwich slinger. You know, he's getting in the faces of these agents and these National Guardsmen, and he's getting in there, he's getting in their faces, he had a Subway sandwich in his hand and throws it at the National Guardsman or the agent. Do we have the video of that? Let's play it. So here he is, just horrible form, by the way, just like girly, of course, first of all, if we're throwing a sandwich, you're a girl. He runs like a girl. His form is embarrassing. It's giving me the ick. I mean, first of all, what would compel you to throw a sandwich at a police officer? I don't know. But the way that he's running, I mean, look at his arms flailing. This is a liberal man. And liberal men apparently are not toxically masculine, but I would say this is toxic effeminate masculinity.
I have so many questions about this because, like, I start with one. Do you go into the Subway thinking that you're buying a foot long to throw at a cop? Or do you think that he was just being that big of a baby once the argument started, that he just sort of lashed out like a 6-year-old and decided to throw his dinner at the police officer?
I think he decided to throw his dinner at the police officer. His emotions got the best of him. But yeah, good point. I mean, if I'm hungry and this is dinner time, nothing is getting between me and my sandwich.
I
me
agree.
Personally.
I agree. Which brings up the next question, right? What sandwich is worth throwing?
Good
like
point.
If I'm like, hey, if this is
maybe if they got your order wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, if I've ordered a meatball sub, I don't know that I'm willing to. I'm willing to get rid of that. I'm gonna go part ways with that.
This just goes to show how mentally ill these people really are. Because why wouldn't you just eat your sandwich instead of throwing it at someone? And apparently this guy was a DOJ employee taking it out on law enforcement. So this is an inside job. So let's throw up Attorney General Pam Bondi's post on X here. She explained that they're not going to let him get away with this. Someone in the chat just said, were they big balls? Maybe they're talking about your meatball sub. I don't know. The meatball sub there. Subway is worth throwing, not eating, someone said. I don't know. Maybe he ordered a torpedo sandwich, someone said. Someone else, are they trying to sell us on Trump? Again, they can't make Trump look any cooler. And they can't make him look better. I mean, he's just doing a great job, and we love all this. Okay, so here's what Attorney General Pam Bondi said. If you touch any law enforcement officer, we will come after you. I just learned that this defendant worked at the Department of Justice no longer. Not only is he fired, he has been charged with a felony. This is an example of the deep state we have been up against for 7 months. as we work to refocus DOJ. You will not work in this administration while disrespecting our government and law enforcement. So I guess he can maybe get a job at Subway.
Great idea.
He needs work, and maybe he can make it up to them. But liberals think, anyone who is protesting the Trump administration right now, they genuinely think that they are fighting an authoritarian government with whistles, pots, pans, and sandwiches. They are clowns in every sense of the word. You cannot fight your government with bologna and Swiss. This is why people with more than 2 brain cells understand why the Second Amendment is important, because if there ever comes a day where we do have a dictator in office, where the government does become too powerful, I don't want to be bringing a 12-inch classic Italian sub on a sesame roll to a gunfight. That's not going to help you. These are the same people that want to pass legislation to disarm American citizens. They want to push gun buyback programs. They don't understand that the Second Amendment ensures that when you do have to rise up against your government, you can do that because you have weapons to resist and fight back. But the left doesn't have weapons, and they don't believe in guns. So they show up with party whistles from a 6th grade birthday party. They show up with noisemakers like that they had in their drawer, their junk drawer from New Year's Eve. This is what they're showing up to fight the government with.
If they really wanted to clear the place out, what they should do is bring that congressman that writes his songs and plays the guitar.
Who's that?
We've had him on the show. They should bring him down and let him play a few songs. 15 seconds. Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Totally gone.
Yeah. It's really kind of sad that they do believe this is a legitimate resistance movement. They're really just out here doing absolutely nothing. All right. I want to take a quick break to tell you about, this guy.
Yeah, 15 seconds of listening to this guy, and you're going to have crickets in the streets. It's just, he's that terrible.
I'm not so sure. I think rubber bullets and tear gas is much better and much more effective. So I'm going to say
Rep Hank Johnson,
should just use that.
Come down and play for us, and everybody's out of there.
I don't know. I'm on team tear gas. I'm going to tell you about Boll and Branch. Those common myths we all hear, like cold weather causes colds, or we only use 10% of our brains. Here's one more: thread count. Many people think higher thread count means better sheets, but it's really just a measure of fabric density. And when it comes to sheets, what actually matters is the quality of the thread itself. That's where Boll and Branch comes in. Their sheets have changed the game for my sleep. They are crafted with premium organic cotton, making them feel so soft and luxurious. Plus, they are built to last. And the best part, they only get softer after every wash. Mine are actually in the dryer as we speak. So when I go home, I'm going to run it again so they're nice and warm, and then make my bed with my brand new Boll and Branch sheets. I'm so excited. And it is not about how many threads there are. It is about how they make you feel. And they make me feel really good. So if you are after sheets that offer both luxury and durability, Boll and Branch is the way to go. Trust me, you will never look at your bed the same way again. Feel the difference with an extraordinary night's sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/scroll. That is Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/scroll to save 15% and unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply. Visit bollandbranch.com for details. Also want to tell you about our friends at Fatty 15. As I've been, working out in the gym, I don't want my joints to feel badly. I want to feel good. I want to have good sleep. So you, like me, probably want to feel something that can make you feel younger, slow down aging, make you feel good. And I'm excited to share with you guys C15 from Fatty 15. It is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. Fatty 15 co-founder Dr. Stephanie Van Watson discovered the benefits of C15 while working with the U.S. Navy. And based on studies, we know that when our cells don't have enough C15, they can age faster. Who wants that? Fatty 15 can help repair and protect age-related damage to cells and help activate pathways in the body that support our overall wellness. Fatty 15 is a science-backed, award-winning, 100% pure C15 supplement that comes in a gorgeous reusable jar. I have so much more energy since Fatty 15 sent me some to try. I sleep well and I fall asleep really, really fast too. It is really helping me get through the long days. I absolutely love it. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels and help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. And you can get an additional 15% off of their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/scroll and use code SCROLL at checkout. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. You know what I was thinking about, Andy? When we were talking about the protester, the guy who drove all the way from Michigan, it reminded me of the girl that we covered who drove all the way to Alligator Alcatraz to resist that.
And sort of created the J.J. Abrams mystery about what was going on,
right.
down
then she
there.
was posting the cryptic messages and stuff. But
yeah,
this next story reminded me of that because her little stunt didn't work. Not only is Alligator Alcatraz still up and running, Governor DeSantis is expanding these efforts with a brand new detention center, and it is called Deportation Depot. So they're sticking with the alliteration, the trendy, catchy name. But Florida is going to open a second state-run immigration detention center. It's actually an empty prison that is just west of Jacksonville. So Governor DeSantis announced this earlier today, and they're going to keep cracking down on illegal immigration. This is the Florida Department of Corrections. They closed this facility west of Jacksonville, but it can house 1,300 detainees. So they're going to use this empty jail. And this was all part of an effort to just consolidate the prison system in Florida. But they have this empty facility. And with all these illegal immigrants, they have plenty of illegal immigrants. They need more room for them. So I love it. I absolutely love it. There is a need for this. The increase in capacity at detention centers, the need for new ICE agents. Liberals get pissed off by this, but you can thank Joe Biden for that. He's the one that let them all in. And now the Trump administration is just cleaning up his mess. And if DHS needs more ICE agents and Florida has the need for 1,300 more spots for detainees, you can thank Joe Biden for that. That's his fault. And the left is always melting down about something. It's either fake fascism, deportations, and of course, the manosphere. So here is failed CNN host Chris Cuomo, former CNN host, throwing shade at Joe Rogan. Now that he's in the podcast sphere himself, he's probably feeling a little insecure amid the king of podcasting, Joe Rogan. So listen to this.
My big prediction is that Rogan's success is admirable. I do not believe he'll be where he was 3 months ago, a year from today. There are too many talented people entering that space now who want his real estate, and they're going to be better at what he does than he is. So I think that
but I got to be honest.
He's going to see attrition.
That's not the first time someone said that about Joe. He does surpass expectations. Like, people wrote his obituary many, many times, and it's just never come true.
Oh, listen, I don't necessarily want it to come true because I don't find him offensive or anything. I see him as innocuous, but he's getting criticism. He never got criticism before. The media is taking him seriously now, and that's not going to go well for him.
First of all, Tim Dillon is a national treasure. I absolutely love him. Of course, he's going to stand up for his friend Joe Rogan, but Chris Cuomo is just spewing crap in that clip. I mean, he's saying that no one's going to care about Joe Rogan. No one's ever tried to cancel Joe Rogan before. What universe are you living in?
Yeah, and he's making comments. Oh, well, Joe, he's admirable. The guy's got the biggest podcast in the history of the planet. And Joe is a good interviewer. He's got this Larry King back when Stern was good. Joe does a really, really good job of interviewing people, much better than what's on his show.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting because the left is always they're always creating problems. They're creating problems, like I said, with the fake fascism and all this stuff. And they've really created this boogeyman of the manosphere. No, the left coined the term manosphere. No one on the right made that up. They called Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, all these bro podcasts. No one was calling these bro podcasts a collective political force of nature until the libs named them that. And yes, President Trump went on Theo Vaughn's podcast and Joe Rogan's podcast, and the left keeps saying, we need a Joe Rogan for the left. Stop being Trump deranged losers for starters. Theo Vaughn's podcast is not political. It worked for President Trump because they have personalities outside of politics. It was a moment for them to, or not for Theo Vaughn, but for President Trump to kind of like let his hair down, loosen his tie, be normal, be fun, be personable. But he can do that because he has a personality. Again, Joe Rogan's podcast, also not political, in my opinion. Yes, he interviews politicians. He'll ask them tough questions here and there, but he also has fun with them too. They can shoot the shit and talk about UFC or comedy or aliens or drugs, whatever they're talking about. And I don't even like using the term manosphere because it's so cringe. But the reason these manosphere podcasts are so popular is because they're normal. People crave normalcy, and people don't turn to the Chris Cuomos of the world for normalcy. He doesn't give them that.
A great like little sub point there too is that all the left could have gone on each one of those shows. Mm-hmm. Like Bernie was on Joe Rogan not too long ago, and Kamala could have gone on there. It's not that like Joe Rogan has a problem talking about their side of the line via politics. They're boring, dull
Totally
people.
boring. And they don't really, the left has celebrities who have podcasts. They have like the Dax Shepherds and others who have podcasts.
Smartless with Bateman,
right,
and all of them, yeah.
So it's like, why didn't Kamala Harris go on their podcasts? I just don't get that. Like, and maybe you can tell me this. I don't really know the demographics of who watches the Joe Rogan show. I'm assuming now the Joe Rogan experience is mostly MAGA people and then just people who don't get offended, like middle of the road independent thinker types that aren't, Trump haters.
Well, Rogan's audience is almost ubiquitous because of its clippability. I mean, there are people that clip that and it's all over social and everyone's algorithm. I mean, so like, I don't really know who his target audience is, but I would say 18 to 35-year-old men or who tune in to check out, Joe Rogan, and maybe a tick older, but like the stuff that he talks about is all over the place too. I mean, it's more about like Anna Paulina Luna is on there talking about aliens the first 30 minutes.
I also feel like Theo Vaughn, it's not a political podcast. Maybe before his Trump interview, he would have liberals, but I feel like Theo Vaughn is very Republican coded.
I mean, Theo, I agree. But even that's a little bit of facade. And just because you have Trump on and you're willing to have a good conversation with somebody that's on the right, that all of a sudden puts things in a box for you as a label.
Yeah.
I mean, Theo Vaughn would sit down and have a conversation with anyone if they're interesting.
Right.
And that's the problem, is that they're not feeding people that are interesting.
Totally. No, totally. Yeah. So anyway, they're just melting down over the manosphere. Meanwhile, I have to talk about this because this is near and dear to my heart. It's BNA, Nashville International Airport. So they have ended a DEI program for vendors in accordance with President Trump's executive order ending DEI BS. So the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority is ending this program for small, minority, and women-owned business enterprises, basically giving these specific businesses more access to be vendors in the airport, if that makes sense. Like if you're going to get food in the airport, it would be a woman-owned restaurant, or the newsstand is black-owned or whatever, which who cares? But according to this press release, this is all because it's all stemming from Executive Order 14173, which is an updated grant requirement from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration, which is prohibiting race and gender-based preferences in federally funded programs. So this all makes sense to me. And, the airport says that it'll launch some other kind of initiative to help small businesses and things like that. But it's going to be equitable. They love these words, but equitable, participation, open competition, transparent access for all vendors. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, white, black, doesn't matter. You're all going to have equal opportunity, which is how it should be. But one black business owner who has a vendor in the airport, he says the airports are no longer going to be diverse if not for the government forcing it. So listen to this.
It's going to be a dull place without diversity.
For more than 70 years, David Sweat's family restaurant has served soul food in North Nashville. For the last 2 decades, Sweat's has had a front row seat at Nashville's International Airport.
We get all new customers every week.
The airport first invited Sweat's in long before DEI was a national buzzword. Now, with federal regulations forcing B&A to scrap its small minority and woman-owned business program, he admits the future is uncertain.
We're just flying in the darkness with a blindfold on.
Airports Authority Board VP Stacey Nickens says the change comes directly from an executive order by President Trump, which prohibits race or gender-based preferences in federally funded contracts. She says this was not a local decision.
What's interesting is, I've flown out of B&A many a time, as you have. I've never seen Sweat's barbecue.
I'm just thinking the exact same thing. And I've also never seen that place dull. There is live music at the B&A airport at 15 different places all day, 8 a.m. And you can listen to the dance by somebody, the Garth Brooks song by somebody covering it, and then walk to the next gate and there's somebody covering it there too. It's music it's never dull.
Right. So he got this, I guess, this spot, this vendor spot for his restaurant in the airport a few years ago. And I guess, is business not good unless the government gives you the opportunity? I mean, clearly his business was good enough. He was doing enough business to be on their radar, unless he only got in there because he was black. I have no idea. But I have never in my life thought to myself, especially at an airport, who owns this restaurant and what color are they? What do they have going on in their underpants? I've never thought that in my life. I've never seen a sign on a window that says woman-owned business or black-owned business. And then I'm like, oh, great. I can enjoy my meal now because I'm doing something good. Real normal people do not think about things like that. I have never in my life thought, I hope I'm supporting a woman-owned business right now.
I think everybody that goes through B&A or any airport is, can I have some decent food and fast? Because I need to get where I'm going.
Fast, and why is my bottle of water $8?
Well, yeah, you got me there, yes.
That's the only thing that people are thinking of. This is just totally absurd. So I just had to share that because I thought it was funny that he said it's going to be a dull place. It's going to not be diverse. I mean, hey, if you can do business in the airport, I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you are.
100%.
I've never thought about it. I've never, ever. Someone in the chat said, never occurs to a normal person. Agreed. All right, this next story is really kind of odd. Andy sent this story to me, so if you don't like it, you can blame Andy.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this was a real thing.
Well, apparently, adults in China who are stressed out are using pacifiers. They use a little passy because it makes them feel a sense of safety from childhood. And here's what the article says. When the going gets tough, the tough pop in a pacifier. Surprising new stress-busting move thousands of young adults in China are making, swapping melatonin and meditation for an adult-sized binky. And this is apparently being sold in China as, like a sleep aid. It's like their version of a stress ball or, taking melatonin before bed. They are soothing themselves, self-soothing with a pacifier, but these are grown adults. Very odd. And they interviewed someone in the article and they said, when I'm under pressure at work, I feel a sense of safety from childhood. I have to say, if I ever saw you or anyone else that we work with a pacifier in, I would call the police.
Oh, just kick me in the back of the head.
Straight to jail. That's so odd.
Kick me in the back of the head. And who remembers? I mean, the article was, I just remember the nostalgia of being comfortable when I was a kid and with a pacifier. I have no memories.
Me neither.
Of ever having a pacifier.
Me neither. And what?
Ever.
I guess it's become so socially acceptable and normalized there that it's become a trend. But how does this start? Like, how does this become a trend? Someone is stressed out and this is like an adult who has a baby and they thought, let me put my baby's pacifier in my mouth? Gross. Or you're a grown adult with no kids and you're buying a pacifier? Also weird.
I can't. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But now, what if we see somebody in a pacifier walk up to a National Guard troop and throw a sub sandwich at him?
Just give him a pacifier. You know those like Snickers commercials where it's like, you're not yourself when you're hungry, have a Snickers. It's like, you're feeling a little stressed. Here's a pacifier.
Yeah, he probably should have, if he'd have taken a couple of bites out of that sub, he's going to save himself some court costs.
Yeah. Good point. Just calling back to that, if he had eaten his dinner, he would have had nothing. I mean, maybe he would have thrown a punch instead of a sandwich.
That'd been worse.
I know it would have been. I mean, is it really worse?
Well, maybe he
would
would
have
have
assaulting a police officer either way.
If he ate a foot long, maybe he'd have just had that carb load hit, and he'd have just had to just set down. You know what I mean? After you eat a lot of carbs, you just sort of fatigue out. Maybe he wouldn't have been in that. Point is, eat first.
Eat
Don't
first,
do anything
think
hangry
about it. See if maybe you were just feeling a little hungry, a little hangry, and maybe he would have been in control of his emotions and he wouldn't have needed to throw the
Exactly.
Well, he wouldn't have had a Subway sandwich to throw at the cops. But
Exactly.
yeah, I think he was maybe feeling a little upset. Maybe next time, try a pacifier. All right, let's get into some scrolling time. So this first story it actually kind of ties in with the last adult pacifier story because this is a therapist. I'm serious. This is a therapist who had a meltdown over Starbucks. Watch this.
I know it's really dumb, but I just went to 2 different Starbucks.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. Let me get started for you today.
Hi there. Do you guys have the summer berry still?
We don't. I'm sorry, queen.
I'm just desperate to find it.
Yeah, everyone is supposed to technically be out of it by now.
And I just had the worst day. I really want my emotional support drink. I got laid off a month ago, but they gave me 30 days notice so that I could keep working, which I really appreciated because I needed the income. But my last day is on Friday, and I'm having to go to work every day this week at a job that I'm already laid off from. I worked at this place for 5 years. It's just a small thing, but I was just gonna comfort myself tonight. I don't drink. I'm sober, so I don't go to the bar when I don't feel good. I go to Starbucks, and it just feels like we should get some warning when something's gonna be disappearing. Because some of us depend on it. And they were asking me, do you want anything else? They were like, we still have the puppy bowl, but we could put it in something else, but I don't want it in something else. I only want it in the summer berry.
Okay. Quick disclaimer. I am trying not to be super rude or insensitive because obviously this woman is going through something very serious and she's obviously struggling. So I feel bad that she's lost her job. But when I went to her profile to see what job she had, she is a licensed clinical social worker and a trauma specialist. So people hire her when they're in emotional distress. You're supposed to turn to that lady when you don't know how to handle your emotions? If you are an adult filming your crash out over a discontinued seasonal Starbucks menu item, you should seek help. You shouldn't be the help, which makes sense as to why maybe she lost her job. I also love how she was complaining about going to work even though she was laid off. They gave her 30 days, but she was getting paid. And she was like, I don't understand why I have to go to work. Well, then she was also grateful that she was getting paid. It's like, right, well, you're getting paid because you're going to work.
Well, later on,
What's not clicking, Steven?
She's on her way to another Starbucks. That's just, you know.
She already tried to.
So, like, I mean, she said she didn't drink, but earlier in the chat, they were talking about, you know, making martinis. She needs to sip something slow and relax because, like, she don't need to be driving a car.
Well, she also said, I don't go to bars. Like, I'm sober. I don't go to bars when I feel sad. I go to Starbucks. Okay. I'm just saying, if this was your therapist, you are cooked.
What therapist would tell you to film yourself in that situation? That's the thing. Like, why do you feel the need to film that and post it and think that that's mentally healthy? And that's probably why I hate that she got laid off or whatever. But, like, I mean, could that play into it?
Yeah. Also, you know, she's a therapist, a trauma therapist, and she's like, well, I'm sober, so I don't go to the bar when I feel sad. Is she telling people who aren't sober to do that? She thinks that that's an actual way to cope with your problems. That's also very concerning. Praying for her. Okay, this next one, I actually have, 4 animal videos. I have gotten requests because I do the cat videos a lot. I'm impartial, but I have dog videos, I have cat videos, and then we have some blind reactions, and I'm answering your questions. So this next part of the show is no more crying liberals. This is all should be fun. So this first one is a dog who he really wants this bacon, but he can't get to it. So there's some sizzling bacon, a video of some sizzling bacon on an iPad. And this little chihuahua he's trying to get to it. He can't. He hears the sizzling. He can almost smell it, but he can't get to it. I think that's cute. I thought it was cute. You know, some people like give their dogs or their cats videos to watch on the TV or their iPad when they leave the house. Do you guys do that with your pets?
No.
Guy does.
Guy does?
He just gave the thumbs up. You give
So my cats
Jammy
love
and Peanut?
cat YouTube. Yeah, cat YouTube is a bunch of birds and squirrels, and my cats watch it, and they're just entranced. And then they jump on we have a projector, not a TV. They jump on the wall and try to catch the birds. It's pretty great.
Wow. I've never tried to put Birdie in front of the TV or a screen. I have a phone addiction, but I don't want to give one to Birdie.
How long do you let that poor animal lick the
and we
iPad?
watch TikTok together. What'd you say?
I said, how long do you let that poor animal lick the iPad?
I know. And
I
that's
mean,
also
how
kinda
long?
gross. Well, as long as it takes to get a 1-minute video, and then you can make money off of TikTok. That's what if you have a video over a minute, you can monetize on social media. So that's probably what they were doing. This next one, though, I can identify with this because Birdie is also very food motivated, and she takes food that I'm cooking and things like that. So here's a cat that is very territorial over some raw chicken. Watch.
You need to let that go right now. So we're gonna try the oven mitt approach.
The kitten is growling with this raw piece of meat hanging from its mouth. Putting up a good fight, I would say, too.
What the fuck is the matter with you?
Look at the cat hanging on to her arm.
Get away!
Birdie has eaten raw chicken she has taken raw chicken off of my counter before. I put raw meat on the counter, ran into, wash my hands or something, and she's up on the counter, grabbed the raw meat. She's running around the apartment. I have identified with this woman before.
My dog, this weekend, I woke up and made some orange Danish rolls, those Pillsbury orange rolls. Yeah. And then I had a couple sitting outside with my coffee. And then when we have 2 dogs, when I went to let the second dog outside,
gone.
Dog 1, gone. 2 orange rolls, gone.
My friend told me this story once. Well, I guess I'll tell the pizza story when we get to the last video. But this next one, a lot of these PETA people, they were upset with this one. Watch. Just a piece of Kraft American cheese on the cat's head, and the cat is wondering who turned off the lights? And why does it smell like cheese in here? See, I don't get offended by this because the cheese is not hurting the cat. The cat is fine. The cat's a little confused, but the cat is going to be okay. But when you go to the comment section of this video, I mean, people are really triggered. And, this was part of a larger social media trend. People were putting cheese on their babies' heads. And then the parent police, they're in the comment section saying, how dare you, this is child abuse. And it's literally a piece of cheese. They're going to be okay.
They were just throwing cheese on their kids' foreheads.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the
like,
fun
I
of
don't
it.
recommend it, but the kid's going to be okay. I'm not going to call CPS on them,
It's going to be fun when the kid's 25 and he's looking back at it, in his scrapbook and be like, here's where mom threw a piece of cheese at my forehead.
The kid's like, 20 years old. He's opening a packet of Kraft American cheese and he's just getting like war flashbacks. He's like, why does this make me feel uncomfortable?
Or later on in life at the nursing home, the adult kid is throwing cheese back at the parents.
All right, this next one is, well, we all know that seagulls, they have an appetite and they like human food. They're like the rats of the sky. So this one is no different. An entire piece of pizza in the seagull's mouth, flying in the sky. I looked it up. I think this is AI because there's no way that the pizza came uncut. If anything, the seagull could get away with one piece of pizza, but you can't get away with the whole pie. What pie comes uncut?
You never had just like a bad pizza where they didn't cut it all the way through? You know what I mean?
The entire one, though, it wouldn't have come undone in the sky. I think it's AI.
It could be. I'm just trying to play benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't know how big a seagull's claws are or whatever.
I do have a story though. And I was going to tell it before, but I said I'll save it for the seagull pizza video because during COVID, one of my friends, a lot of people were working from home. I wasn't, but my friend was. And in order to do, team building and things like that, they would have Zoom parties and whoever would send a pizza to everyone's house, and then they would get on Zoom and have a meeting or something on a Friday. It was supposed to be dumb team building corporate BS. So my friend had someone in their office sent a full pizza to my friend's house. And she walked outside and to get the pizza because whoever ordered it said, hey, the pizza was just delivered to your house. So she went outside, opened the box. No pizza in the box, just a box. All of a sudden, walks around the corner, dog was eating the entire pizza. You got to be careful, even with delivery people leaving the pizza outside. If the dog's outside, that pizza might be a goner.
Dang.
Yeah. Pizza might be a goner.
I just picture the dog shutting the pizza box back and making it all like a clean theft, planning an escape route.
They'll
you know
never
what I mean?
know.
Disabled the security system.
Yeah. They'll never know. All right, you guys have 2 blind reactions for me today?
Yeah, we do. We have our favorite annoying congresswoman from Texas.
Okay.
But we have an impersonation of her.
So this is Jasmine Crockett?
Impersonator.
Okay.
And there could be a Vegas future for this girl. Okay. So check this out.
I know, and 2 things for sure, baby, they always come back. Gonna call my better things. Elevating. So wait, you see what I'm saying? Don't come back to me when your girl, whatever she was.
Yeah, that tracks.
I mean, that's
pretty good.
Unfortunately, it's pretty good.
I will say, I didn't notice obnoxious eyelashes on that girl, so she's got to get bigger eyelashes. Because when I see Jasmine Crockett, all I can see are the eyelashes.
No, yeah, Texas. You got to go bigger with the eyelashes.
Home. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the hair, including the eyelashes, including the attitude.
But I do
Jasmine
think
Crockett's she's a triple threat. She's got all 3.
I mean, you got guys like Sean Farish, our friend of the show, that's done the Trump thing early on, and now he's hilarious with it. I think you give this girl a little time. I'm encouraging her, keep at it. Let's go, keep working this thing.
Yeah,
there's something there.
Make it a bit. I'm into it. All right, hit me with the next one.
All right, you introduced us to this the other day, so here's a new run of these babies that I thought was funny.
What's the biggest red flag you caught from your parents early?
They took my temperature. Let's just say it wasn't in my mouth, and I will never trust them again.
What's a red flag you've seen from your mom?
She called my dad a deadbeat, but girl, you the one who let him beat the Goonies down.
What's a parenting red flag you caught early?
They dropped my pacifier, blew on it, and stuck it back in my mouth, so they'll for sure be going to a nursing home.
What's a red flag you noticed about your parents early on?
They've been feeding me the same plain milk every single day. No flavor, no seasoning, 0 out of 10.
What's something you wish your parents would do differently?
When they're burping me too rough, bruh, it's supposed to be a gentle pat, not a drum solo on my spine.
What's a red flag you've already seen from your parents?
When they stick that suction thing in my nose too far, I'm filing for emancipation next time.
What's a red flag you remember from in the womb?
My mom hit the blunt so much, I only cried because I was happy to be out, but now I'm stuck here.
What's something your mom does that really gets on your nerves?
She'll grab the 16-ounce can of tuna when she knows WIC only covers the 12.
What's something strange you remember your parents doing?
They made me do a photo shoot against my will with only a hat on. I felt violated and vulnerable.
What's something your pops did that you'll never forget?
My mom said he was coming to pick me up, and he literally picked me up, put me back down, and left.
I like them. These are the only AI babies that I like, but I do think that these are very funny, so I like it. We've got 10 minutes left, and I've got some questions that I put on my Instagram story earlier. So if you want to be a part of this next time, just follow me at Hayley Caronia, HayleyCaronia on Instagram, and then you can submit your questions. But if you have any in the chat that you want to add live, Gia and Andy will read them in the chat. They'll tell me in my ear, and I'll answer them. So someone asked me, is there a place in Florida you haven't visited yet that you would like to visit? And my answer to this is absolutely. I've only been here since March. I haven't seen maybe 10% of Florida. So I have a lot to go, I would say. I want to go to the Everglades. I want to go to Alligator Alcatraz.
Let's make it happen.
Someone also said, you know, would you rather the West Coast or the East Coast of Florida? We live on the East Coast. I don't go to the West Coast that much. I've got a friend in Sarasota. I'm going to go visit her. I've got a friend in Jacksonville. That's East Coast. So I'm going to go visit her. But I don't get out much.
You need to go to Tampa and then just go north on the coast.
I've been to Tampa. Tampa's fine. St. Pete's fine.
Yeah, but all that Destin and all that stuff north on the coast.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I haven't been to Destin or Rosemary Beach or anything like that. So I want to do that. That's on my Florida bucket list. Anywhere else that I should go in Florida, you got to let me know. Someone said Daytona. My friend's going to be at the Daytona 500. When is that? Next weekend or the weekend after or this weekend? I think it might be this weekend. She said she was going to be there. Yeah. Someone said, let's go to Alligator Alcatraz together. Okay. It's a party. Someone said, what drove you to be a conservative? Few things. So first, when I was in high school, I got into a little fender bender, and it was not my fault. I was sideswiped by a woman that did not speak English. And if I had to guess, she was not a citizen. And she made sure that I was okay. I was. But I was going straight on the road, and this woman just literally passed me on the left and swiped my passenger side. Like, she completely came from behind me, passed me on a one-lane road. So it was like 100% her fault. And I pulled over because she just hit me, and she pulled over. I couldn't understand what she was saying, obviously, because I don't speak Spanish, but I would assume that she was just making sure that I was okay. And then she drove off, and I said, this is messed up. This is messed up. So this was my first incident. I was probably 17. You get your license when you're in New York. So yeah, 17 years old, sideswiped by probably an illegal immigrant. I said, this is messed up. This is messed up. You should at least make sure that I'm okay and be able to speak English and ask me. And then I went to college, of course. College is where a lot of people become liberal, but I became absolutely red-pilled in college. I took some media classes because I studied film, television, and media arts. And one of my professors was covering media bias. And they were actually talking about 9/11. And they were comparing how Fox News Channel covered a story versus everyone else. And basically my professor's point of view was that, here's how the media writ large was covering it, and then here's how, the kicked stepchildren over at Fox were covering it. And I agreed with how Fox was covering it, because the story was how they wanted to build a mosque at Ground Zero, which is, time and place, people. Like, this is inappropriate and insensitive to people who lost their loved ones to radical Islam. So maybe let's not put a place of worship for Islam right where these people died. That's like my thinking, and probably a lot of people's thinking. But of course, the right side was being demonized in this class. And I just thought, and we kept doing more examples of this media bias, and I kept agreeing with Fox News. So I was like, I think I'm one of the bad guys. I'm going to go work for them. And I did. So that, and then my first job out of college was at Fox News. I interned in local news first. I know a lot of you already know that story, but when I got to Fox, I interned at Fox 4 times, and then my first job there, I worked in advertising and on-air promotion, and part of my job as a production assistant, you kind of do like the grunt work, and we had to watch this is in 2015, so every single Hillary Clinton speech rally, every single Donald Trump speech rally. This was the first election where I thought, wow, I am so informed, because I have seen everything that every candidate has said. And I thought, I really don't like anything that Hillary Clinton is standing for, and I like what President Trump is standing for. So that's how I became a conservative, and I've just been getting black-pilled ever since. Just red-pilled, even more red-pilled, even more red-pilled. COVID certainly red-pilled me even more and opened my eyes to the government being liars, your doctors being liars, big pharma, lobbyists. I mean, all of that. Once you open your eyes and start digging, how do you become liberal? I don't understand. I mean, I've just become more conservative. I think when the facts are on your side, very easy to debate your point of view, especially with the leftists when they come with emotion and things like that. So I've always, I've become more conservative, more pro-life. The more research I do, the more conservative I become. So that's what kind of got me started and why I'm more conservative day by day. Someone asked, whatever happened to the lizard? Don't know. Guy, do you have an update? I mean, we had the lizard that was on the wall. I haven't seen him in weeks. And we had some little baby ones, but I think they sprayed some, like pest control, and we haven't seen any. So
either he passed away.
He passed away, you think?
Yeah, F in the chat for the lizard. Or he's living in my house, because I found the lizard in my bedroom yesterday. So he could have moved. He could have gone into my car on the way out or something.
You got to speak louder.
Sorry.
Is it just me that Guy is...
Sorry, guys. Maybe
people
I just don't like to speak loud. But yeah, maybe he's living in my room now. I don't know. I found the lizard there.
Okay. Someone in the chat said you killed them. I did not do anything. I just haven't seen it. Someone is guessing that he's behind the Pinehurst sign. Maybe. I mean, we can go look, but I haven't seen him in weeks. So TBD on the lizard. If you had the opportunity, would you time travel to 1986 or the 80s in general? That's very specific. What happened in 1986?
We had this chat. We were talking. The chat and I were bonding over all of the stuff that came out in 1985, like music, movies. That might have been the most culturally impactful year. Crazy stuff. So
really,
just say yes. You'd go back to 1985. Trust everybody.
No, I don't want to time travel. I feel I want my feet on the ground. I want to stay parked in reality. These time travel movies and stuff always scare me because people get trapped and then things happen and then things get changed. These different universes and alternate realities. This freaks me out.
Just stick with one. You got to stick with the Back to the Future time travel rules, and then you're fine.
Okay.
Just stay away from. Well, you're traveling back to before you're.
Bold of you to assume
don't run
that
into
I've
your
seen
parents.
Back to the Future, Andy. I haven't.
You got no shot. No, there's no shot that she's seen that, chat. So let's start. Somebody mail her Back to the Future so we can.
No one mail me anything because
it.
I don't have a Blu-ray player. I don't have a DVD player. I have to just stream it. So I appreciate it, but don't send me anything because I won't be able to watch it. Thoughts on parents tracking their kids with phones or AirTags? This is a different world. So when I grew up, my parents did not track me. I think that strict parents create sneaky children. That is my hypothesis. And nowadays, I think the world is a scarier place than the world that I grew up in. So I track a lot of my friends on their phone. Like, I track their locations, and I just think it's fun to see where they are. I'm like, oh, so-and-so's at home, or if we have a dinner reservation and someone's late, we go and check their location, and they'll be like, oh, on my way. And we're like, you're lying. You're still at home. So I track my friends. I think if I had kids, maybe I would track them. But I wouldn't overdo it. I wouldn't abuse the privilege because, then they get sneaky. So that's just my thing. Someone asked me, do you think America is doomed to fall into communism? Which I think this is my last question here. So if you can find a more positive one for me to end on, that would be awesome. If someone in the chat can give me a positive question that I can end on, because I don't want to end on this. I want to stay positive. I don't think that America is doomed to fall into communism. I think that even if we had a socialist far left candidate as president, the pendulum would swing. They're not going to be in office forever. So I think if we had someone like, in the future, a Zoran Mamdani or someone of that ilk, we would have a right-wing president come in after them. So, this is kind of the thing with American politics. And I talk about this, especially when we talk about the immigration crisis, because I'm always worried, all the work that President Trump is doing, someone is going to come in and undo it. And then, the next time a Democrat's in office, they're going to undo everything and vice versa. We always just undo everything over and over. Someone asked me steak or pizza. That is a good question because that's hard to choose. Ugh.
New York, made in Brooklyn.
I know. Like, if I'm in New York, I'm going pizza. If I am anywhere else, steak, I would say. Because pizza anywhere outside of New York is just not the same. We talked about this yesterday. Was this before the show or was it on the show? I don't remember. But we were talking about how the water in New York is incredible.
Yesterday.
That is the reason why the dough for the pizza and the bagels are better.
The bagels and the pizza make it so good, yeah.
And when I lived in Nashville, there's a Roberta's Pizza in Brooklyn, and they opened one in Nashville, and they import the water from New York to Nashville to make the pizza. And that was the closest pizza that I had to New York pizza outside of New York. Someone said, no, Connecticut pizza is the best. Listen, I went to college in Connecticut. I get it. The Frank Pepes and all that, I've had it. Same stuff. It's the same water. So when people say Connecticut, New York water, like, same.
It's like a little bit of a hard Portnoy stance right there to say Connecticut pizza is better than New York pizza.
I will say, I think the bagels in New York are better than the bagels in Connecticut. You can get good pizza in Connecticut, but bagels for whatever reason, no. So I guess we can end on that. We can end on the pizza bagels debate from this New Yorker. So, all right. Thank you so much for scrolling along with me. I've got a great interview on deck for you tomorrow with Joe Bob from Turning Point. If you don't know him, you're going to know him. So follow me at Hayley Caronia on most platforms. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Truth Social. And I will see you right back here tomorrow. See ya.